Good morning, everybody. It's that second you hit go live and then you forgot your mic isn't armed. Morning. How's everybody doing? Might hear some footsteps. I don't know. Um, I can't help what people above me do. It's a wonderful Sunday morning. Thanks if you're here. Thanks if you're not here, really. I mean, we're gonna talk about some slicers today. It's obviously just me. You're stuck with me. Ha ha. But welcome. Thank you everybody who's a Patreon of ours. We sure appreciate it. If you if you're interested in getting in on the Patreon thing, it's patreon.com/3D make it. We just got some discords and some offline chats and that kind of stuff that you'll get access to on a more permanent basis. In fact, at all, we don't have a Discord server that's public anymore. So that's that's to do with a lot of worldly event things. So um, there's a couple things that's happening for us. One, the K1C kit is getting closer to fruition. So when we get that, we're actually gonna install it and do a comparison K1C CFS Bamboo Labs. Like the the thing is like we all kind of know how bamboo works and functions, um, which is good, right? Like it works. Bamboo Lab just works, and their ecosystem is good. It just works, right? So the advantage that K1C and the Creality stuff has, I guess, is it's still like Creality was around when tinkers were like, "Oh, well, I don't care. I'm buying a CR10S, a CR10 Menander 3. I don't care. I'm gonna buy that printer, and then do about 400 things to it, and um, it will not be that printer anymore, right? So, that's where the Creality guard's from, and then we do have kind of the bamboo side of the things, which is also it, it's like a package premium product. We talked about it, right? It's package premium. It does good. Good morning, Dominic. No notifications. That's not good. I that's not good at all. Was it something I did? I wonder. It could very well be something I did. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it. I think it was just a YouTubeism. I know I follow some people, and I actually have to like go into like the subscribe thing and then grab it. But anyway, so that's happening. Creality Bamboo comparison. I think it's an interesting time for Creality to get it like the CFS out and to fruition for like all the K1C and K1 products that they have too, just because of what's going on with the Bamboo Studio stuff. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how they stack up. I I think so. Like my opinion right now is the K1C is actually better than like the Bamboo Labs. But if you wanted multicolor, you kind of had to use Bamboo Lab stuff. Bamboo Labs is still more user friendly though. So like if there's a barrier to entry at all, Bamboo Studio is probably the choice still. The reason I say that is because of the simplicity of use for new users, right? Like people are like, "Oh, you got to use their app. Meh, you got to you got to use the app." And yeah, you do. Like you got to use their ecosystem. I mean, Orca Slicer exists, but I think there's a lot of value to a company taking pride into how they make things. So, um, rant over. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit this morning about slicers, where we came from, where it looks like we're going. Um, and I fired up an old friend. I just opened Kira. Let me see if I've got a button here. Yeah, that's not the button I wanted, but it's the button I deserve now. I do have a button, but it's doing nothing, so that's fine. Ta-da! Kira. So this is an old version of Kira, though. This is I think 5.7. Yeah. So this is old. So that thing popped up at the bottom when I opened this. It says, "Hey, download the new version of Kira." And this is what's open. This is the first time I've used Kira in a while. And I didn't know that when you click the download Kira, it takes you to Thingiverse. I did not know this. I do, however, notice that like they do have the MSI option on Kira. So obviously we're going to start on Kira. Kira is one of the oldest slicers around. Like it was there in 2016, 2015. It didn't look anything like, well, I shouldn't say anything. It looks similar, but like Kira is something that's just, it's been there and it's worked. So we're going to download the new one and install it. So I'm just going to close the old one. Yeah. So the interesting thing is it used to be you search Kira, right? And then you went to the Ultimaker site, and then the Ultimaker had the download for free. And it looks like it's the same download. Like it's still the free version. This has both the MSI and EXE. Which again is great for silent installs and stuff like that. I see that Linux has a variety of images, and it looks like Mac has the ARM package there, which is cool. But let's open this and get the dingle in my ears. It's great. So this has been the same installer for Kira for a long time. It's just next, which is nice. There's no bloat in it yet. Like there's no, hey, if you hit next, we're gonna install like FileZilla along the way. So I do respect slicers that don't bloat. Now the other one we're gonna kind of look at too is Bruce's slicer. So I'm gonna open Bruce's slicer. Now let's call Bruce's slicer for what it is. It's mid guard. That's the word I was looking for. It's right in the middle of its journey, right? Like Bruce's slicer came about just before the world shut down in 2019, right? Like it was like when it first released, it was the new kid on block to use, right? It had I need to find about. Is it in here? Oh, right. Bam. Check for application updates. A new version, so I'm 2.2, I guess, releases behind, so we'll grab that. So you might notice in a keen eye where it might say, like, did that just download in 5 seconds when Kira was still downloading in the background? Sure did. So Bruce's slicer's advantage has always been, it's more lightweight. It's quick on its feet. It's definitely different than the original days. It has less bloat, so we've clicked next. That's about it. I don't need shortcuts. So like, let's automatically close those. So it's 3 clicks and it's done, right? It has less bloat, so we clicked next. That's about it. I don't need shortcuts. So like, let's automatically close those. So it's 3 clicks and it's done, right? 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 and installing. Whereas like our Ultimaker one, we'll just click finish for now. Our Ultimaker run, you know, we probably could install 4 or 5 cares in the time it took Ultimaker. So that's a difference with these different libraries. So that makes sense. So we have Kira and Prusa Slicer, and like I said, Prusa Slicer's mid guard. There is an older one that probably some people remember. I'll just show it. 1.3 was released, right? And but if you look at, was it this one? Yeah, 1.3 released in 2018. So this is truly an old guard of slicing. Back in the day, it was either Slick 3R or Kira, or even worse. Oh man, now I can't remember his name. No. It'll come back to me. It's a paid slicer. Don't look at the news tab, it's scary. Paid slicer. Simplified 3D. See, Googling is great. I actually, like, we own not this version. I purchased the version before this. Yeah. And they're on version 5.1, and this one has had kind of like a rocky road when it comes to releases and stuff. Very, very far and few between. It's not agile development in the slightest. It's slow. It's to come out with the new versions. The simplified 3D does work though, and that's what a lot of people back in the 3 point, let's call it 3 version 4 days. It goes back a long way. Like for an idea, Dremel was a MakerBot 5th gen. Like those are old printers. DaVinci 2, those were all old printers. Oh geez, look, Yosemite. When I don't even know when Yosemite came out, but that's old. It's an old guard slicer. And the thing was, back in the day when you downloaded Kira and Prusa, they might not have had support for your printer, whereas Simplify usually did. There wasn't a lot of players on the block yet, so they kept up quite well. The interesting thing is, like, we're on version 5.12 now, and like when you read the notes, they are keeping up with the printers, right? Like it works with the K1 and K1 Max and Neptune FlashForge, all the new fast printers, which is great. The development life cycle of the software is one thing that always kind of shied people away. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just kind of walk down memory lane here. Let's pick a model. So let's see what we can find. Really? FlexiCat? That's weird. FlexiCat is weird. Cats are not flexy like that. It's not right. It's not right. That's kind of cool. But we just want something simple. Something simple. I don't want a turtle. I don't want a turtle. Turtle. Let's see what we can find. Oh, that's cool. Lego key holders. The basketball, that is neat, but I don't want to print the basketball right now. Baby chameleon keychains. Flexible wool mouse. Okay. These are 3D printers. They know that, right? Right. Do we want to do a Highland cow? No. Again, I'll go back. I'm going to go back. I just want to show why this isn't a nah. The cow is damaged. So you can see when they exported this, it's a really rough export of the cow. In fact, like it's almost low poly with what they've done, but like the triangle count on the model, they aren't closed, right? So the first thing you're gonna do is download this model, and then the slicer is gonna be like, repair me. So actually, I might download the model. I'm like, no, this is a bad one, and then I'm like, actually, might be okay. But let's find another one that's not damaged, so that we can get a good play. Get a really good play. Koopa-Bera? No. No. I guess it's Capybara, isn't it? There's so many things on Thingiverse. This was always the issue. Always the issue, my friends. I'm gonna. I want Five Nights at Freddy's. Spiky Dragon? No, that's not quite what I'm looking for. It's silly, you know. I just want a model. I just want a model. I'm a model. So, if you haven't been on Thingiverse in a while, I have not. It's been off and on, like I pop in and pop out, but the amount of ads are growing. Ad, 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 ad. Even once we get to the next page here, there are a ton of ads. Should we print Batman? Yeah, let's print Batman. Batman model. So we're gonna download the STL, and that's another topic that we'll talk about really quick as we go along. So let's start with our Batman. Let's start with Kira. So you saw me open Kira. Let's see how long it takes. I don't have the newest PC, but I don't have the oldest PC. It's probably still top tier, really, except for the graphics card might be like one generation behind. And it's opening like I would expect Kira to open. It might even crash. Who knows? Let's find out. So Kira's when Kira it has been around, it's always been kind of like a hog on resources on your computer, but it also takes a lot of resources to open it. Once it's open, it settles in until you hit the slice. Obviously, it's very, very graphically intense, which means like unless you were running something like it's a little different now in computer land because something 10 years old is probably still okay to run stuff now, but back in 2017 it would be silly to try to run Kira of that version, which was probably 3 on something that was 10 years old, like from 2007. That wouldn't have worked, right? Okay, so we're finally in. New scarf seam sentry. That's kind of cool. It gives you like a look. I'm not sure why that's there. And I'm not sure why they use this print as an example because the top of that model sure is rough. Anyway, not nitpicking in the slightest. Let's just hit next. Looks like they're gonna advertise their printers, which is cool. What are the conditional statements? Ooh. So this is something that's existed in other engines as well, but now you can do if else conditions. So, you know, if the temperature on your hot end is this, then do this. Or I think their example is like if TPU is the material type, then we need to change our steps for it, right? else we leave it the same and do no changes. So that's cool. That's cool. Other slicers have done that. It's Bruce's slicer started that way, but that's because Slick 3R started that way. So Kira is really a beast on its own. There was a little bit of feature sharing between the two, which is always good, and kind of like that's the spirit of open source-ness. It's not about stealing; it's about sharing or using ideas together. So here's a Batman. No, 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 Batman. So like he's got some overhangs right now. So you can see like Akira highlights them in red, and those might not print. Now it's being a little bit of a dramatic thing, because like this would print. So let's tweak some settings here. We're gonna use K1C today. So let's add a printer, and then we will do a non-Ultimaker printer. And then we're just going to add a non-network printer. So this hasn't changed. This is the same thing that I've seen for many, 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 many years. Let's see. Creality is what we're after. Now, I did a video, goodness, 5 years ago, probably 4 years, something like that, on Kira and adding your own printers. And that's how printers get rolled in generally, is somebody rolls them into the GitHub, and then they end up in production. So this is kind of what I was wondering, because it had been a very long while since I opened it. So we have a K1 Max in here, which actually will serve our needs. K1 Max, K1C have a lot of the same startup routine and stuff, and the speeds are the same. So you could see like fresh install or fresh update, I should say. Let's just see here. Show computer. Yeah. Let's see if I can remember where things are in Kira. It's been a while. Definition changes, plugin quality. Oh goodness, this doesn't look the same anymore, guys. I think they might have split it into app data, which is fine. Yeah, and then that's a custom from. Yeah. Okay, so it's an app data. That's fine. So there was no K1C. There was a K1. Let's add a new printer again. I'm gonna go non-networked. Bamboo. Nope. I'm trying to remember the other one. That's okay. So right off the hop, it would the video that I made would be very relevant. It was on creating custom printers, and we could see here that we just have a K1. So let's just add a K1 Max. So I'll add the Max. You can see it has some start and end G code. Now, and you can see that it is using kind of like Clipper logic. So the only thing you really have to change for K1C would be the XYZ. I think the K1C is 230, or again, it's like the Ender where it was 235, 235, but on the K1C travel distance prohibit you from moving to the outer limits of the bed, so you have to kind of stick within that 220 or 225. Can't quite remember. But other than that, but you could see like this is the default, right? Like I didn't change nothing, okay, for one thing. So that if I go back into the printer and then I just go manage, machine settings, you can see that it says the G-code flavor is Marlin, which it is not. And then you can also see we don't have Clipper listed here. So Clipper is what's used on lots of the fast new flagship printers. Now, G-code is G-code. This button does almost nothing, okay? But what it does do Hey, Raymond. Good to see ya. I mean, digitally. Thanks for stopping by. It's sure nice when I see you guys Sundays. Um, I'll bring up the right window too so I can see when you guys say stuff. That was silly of me. But, yeah, so G code's G code, so this would work. Like, as long as you know what you want to put in and generate, like, generally speaking, like, the Clipper generated G code moves with the Clipper, or Marlin generated G code works with the Clipper, that's what I'm saying. But we don't have it. There's no option for it in Kira. So, question the one: how does the old guard stand up to the new guard? Well, meh. We're missing some of the options already that we should have just because of missing some Clipper. Now, I don't know. I'm just going to take a peek. Now, this song's annoying. Let's skip this song. Boo song. There we go. That's less annoying to my brain. I'm just going to check the GitHub here. That's what I'm doing. Off the edge here. I just wanted to see if they're rolling like a new beta or something. Doesn't really look like it. So this time I'm going to say, if you have an older printer, this is going to be great. But like for the new ones that do use Clipper, meh, it'll work. Now, it does have the monitor tab as well, but being that this is a Clipper interface, that's never going to work. It used to be Octo Anywhere is how you would connect through your Kira. So I'm just going to go through and see, just to see. I don't see so the marketplace tab is gone. There used to be like an extension store. Is it this one? Yeah, no. They did add post-processing so you can modify the G-code of any of the lines you wanted, which is cool. That's more robust than it used to be, but it was there before. So I'm just going to bop into the printer one more time here. Manage printer. Manage printer. So I don't see the setting in there. Do I see it in here? Activate. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see, so unless I'm completely off my rocker, I don't see it used to be inside right here where you could connect the printer. Oh, there's the marketplace tab, top right. Okay, so you still have to, so field of view is still the way to go. So it hasn't changed. So you'd install field of view and then the connect would show up. Let's do it just to make sure we're not crazy. So there's a lot of like, in order to use the package, must restart. Okay, restart. The question is are you restarting or are you just never know with Kira? That's why I'm talking about it. I'm gonna do the next one here in a second. I just wanted to see the camera thing and then we'll move on. So Kira has not changed. Yeah, there it is. So if you install the plugin, you can connect an Octoprint. Again, this isn't gonna work with any modern printer. It does not run Clipper, and that's the reason why I did this to Kira about 2 years ago. I just closed the button and now I don't open it anymore. So the Kira is the Ogard. They did come up with some cool features that were shared. The slicing engine was shared around with Prusa Slicer, and then it made its way through the other slicers. Like, so there is stuff happening in Kira that is good still. You must install this. Yeah, do it. I really want it. So this is the new version of Kira or of Prusa Slicer. My apologies. I just downloaded it. So I had an old version, so I brought my printers and stuff through. First thing I can notice is like the settings are up here now, which is cool. I'm in expert mode. It looks like there's a login button, so you can probably like log into your Prusa account, and I'm not really sure what advantage that would give you, because there's no browser here for my. Oh, there is. I take it back. There is a browser now, so it's very much like the Handy app where you have in slicer browsing. So already this is way more modern than Kira was, but again, when this slicer came out, it was years ahead of Kira. Like, from that standpoint, I remember watching some videos from other YouTubers that live in Alberta, and everything was Kira, which is great. It was the thing at the time, but now I think we've moved on. So let's see here. Let's see what we can do with Prusa slicers. So we want to see if this old card is modern enough to print with our new printers. So let's check it out. So let's go to configuration wizard. I'm just going to download resources apparently. Yes. Okay. Okay. So far, I like where it's going. All right. So this has not changed. Log in. Log in to control your printers remotely through Prusa. Okay. So this is clearly like the new Prusa stuff probably hooks to your account, and then you can control your print jobs, which is cool. Lots of things do that. Please select online sources you want to get updates from. So it's just like telling you, like, if you didn't use Prusa filaments in your printing, you could turn all that off. So you got some cool options already to toggle on and personalize. Alternative online sources can provide manual. Yeah, so it's just saying you can use third parties if you'd like. Man, there's a lot of. So that's bloat I haven't seen before. Clicking through Prusa's installer. They got all their printers. Yep, and the core. Okay. Still SLA. Good. Okay, Creality family. Let's see if we do it. Let's see if we do it. I was holding out hope. So we don't have the modern, like the K series in here. Let's see what else we got. It looks like a Marlin party, honestly, in there. So let's just click through. Ender 3. Do they have the K? Probably not. Let's just finish. Okay. So everything else looks the same. I just want to see view mode. Oh, and you can set. So we touched on it when we made the video, but this was important. Expert mode. Make sure that's turned on. For any of the American people, they put inches in just for you because you refuse to join the rest of the world in logical measuring systems. So the settings are either offsetting cogs, that's the same, or you can do across the top, which they've changed. I'm not sure I care for the change, but we get rounded buttons now, so there you go. Printers, and then oh, look at that. I knew it was there, by the way, because I used to use Prusa Slicer with my Clipper printers, which this one happens to be one. So Prusa Slicer does have Clipper options, which means you could export profiles and import profiles into Prusa Slicer for like a K1C or Babu would probably be tough. Like you could probably import, but you'd have to know a few of the shaping settings, which are kind of locked behind that ease of use wall. But I do like this. I think Prusa Slicer is valuable still as a slicer if you know what you want to configure. So again, if you're like a tinker under the hood, this is great because you still have Clipper. Like you have actually like look at all those firmwares. I cannot believe Repeat here is still in the list. Uh, I I refuse to. Repeat years is all old. We gotta see what they're up to. I don't know yet. I don't even know what they're. Could we go to like a release host server? Download. Repeat Year was one of the cool ones back in the day too, but I don't think it kept up. But I don't know that for sure. So Clipper is available here, and then again, you have all your customization options. So like this one is called a Creality CR10S, but if you look, it's like a little bit modified in our size, and it does run Clipper. And then like I do have like other printers here that were like this is now Clipper, and the nice part is you just flip it and then it'll do some logic for you. The start and end G code though does not change, which is a thing, right? Like the startup for Clipper uses more scripts than it does just single G code commands. So that's a big difference, and this is not a problem with Prusa Slicer. To be clear, that was just this printer already existed. So let's discard the settings. General. I like how Marlin's Legacy, and then they have Marlin 2. I'm not sure why you would need a Marlin 1. Honestly, the backwards compatibility is pretty good. Pretty good. So let's open our Batman up. We're actually going to open the other one up here too. So, Batman. He looks pretty good. You can see that Prusa Slicer doesn't give you like those areas of where the print might fail. It will give you an analysis if you use the slicer. So if I slice it, you can see like the blue stuff here is overhang infill, which means like this is like you can see it like gently comes up to that, but like this over here is over here for sure, right? So if I were to go to my print pop, if I go back here, if I wanted to support the model, this is probably a good call. Probably. So let's go support. We're just going to do support on build plate only. Now, Prusa Slicer was the first one that support worked in fantastically. So you can see it built a jungle of support we'd have to deal with. You can go in and you can change the support type. Is it pop support material, style, organic. So then now if I were to go back and slice, I get tree supports again, right? Now, so and then you can kind of get an idea of, okay, that's where it would fail. I get it. This is probably pretty okay now. So Prusa Slicer is a capable slicer still. I wouldn't count it out because it's still being developed by Prusa for Prusas, right? But like it's again, it didn't have all the printers that I would think it would have already. Let's do check for configuration updates and look one more time. Configure. This is new. Like I said, it never used to like take forever to parse its own config files. Quality. I don't see it. I don't see it. So this one is probably one of those ones where it's like, if you know the settings that you wanted to use, then you could pull them out and use them. Now, The next one that I want to talk about, and then there's the two at the end. There's some controversy around, like, not the slicer, to be clear. There's no controversy around Orca itself. It's just um, how usable it's going to be. Oh yeah, I was going to see how broken that cow was. So this is something Prusa Slicer does real good. It has the net fab engine built right in. So if I were to grab that Highland cow, you can see already, like like all those open face triangles and stuff would be really bad. It has 3,000 airs almost. So like, let's see what the auto repair can do. It's the same engine inside of Orca and Bamboo because they both borrowed from this. So Orca Slicer kind of borrowed from a few projects, which is fine. Um, so it did close the model and make it watertight, but I would never print this on my printer. Like the movements it would have to do. That's still an open face, like just straight up. Yeah, right there. It goes up under the model. So yeah, like this one is just broken. Cute cow, but don't print it. Very broken. So the next thing that we'll talk about here is Orca Slicer. Help. Check for updates. Make sure we're updated. So as we know, Orca Slicer is a fork, or is a offset shoot of Bamboo, which and a bit of Kira, and so then Bamboo is a fork of Prusa Slicer. So they used those engines and reskinned it. Um, this one is the beta, so I don't know if the check is gonna actually work. I don't think it does anything, which is fine. So Orca Slicer does give you the option, obviously for Clipper. Here's the K1C native build plate, all that yada yada yada. Printer. It So when you click the settings, if you click the higher settings in Orca Slicer, it's a little slower off the hop than Prusa, but it still ages faster than anything Kira was able to do. So I'm not going to crash my Orca Slicer. I'm going to be patient and let this wheel start. There it is. So you can see kind of supported printers right at the top here. So it does have Clipper support, which Clipper support makes sense because that's what Bamboo Labs and like the flagship printers use. It does have Kira support still. Looks like you can do whatever you want as well, which is great. Let's just go down here and see what the catalog looks like. So it does have all of the Bamboo series in it. It shares a lot of the connection that Bamboo Slicer does. That's where the controversy came in. We talked about it last show. If you want to check out some of our thoughts on that, I don't want to rant on that. Lots of printer brands in here. And again, some of them are probably community driven, but like you have the KE series where none of them had the KE that we've looked at before. This modern browser is big and tough. It came to play. Let's see. Yeah, K1Cs. It has all of the printers. So the other thing it does have, engine. Engine. I forget where the setting is now. It lets you change the slicer model. Would it be under other? I'll have to find it. Oh, there it is. So it lets you change the wall generation, and this is where I say they borrow a little bit from Kira because Kira came out with Arachne, I think, if I remember the timeline. So it lets you change to default, or Arachne. Now I wouldn't change it off of that. That's a good start, a good setting. So here, let's bring our Batman model in. Again, it doesn't give us any visual cues as to support. We have to use our 3D printing brain skills to figure this out. Or I'm gonna hit slice, and it gives me all that visual information still, which is it's good. Didn't like that song either. Sorry about that. Is good. It gives us the queuing in here, so you can see anything with the blue as an overhang. I might not print, especially if it's over air, probably crotch, probably underneath his belt here. Like that would all fail. So we probably want to generate support on this model as well, according to that pre-slicing. Now, one thing that modern slicing lets you do is add plates to a project. Oops. This one. So like if I had a big project and I wanted to like say print three or four different things, have it all ready to go. Let's see. I don't think I have that model. No. Let's see here. It's gonna be slow, but it'll load. Multiple plates give you the opportunity to separate your project. Yeah, there we go. So this is just a model. I think I found it on Printables. But like you can see, I can actually pre-stage my models. Object there laid outside of the boundaries. Probably just gotta do this. Yeah. So I can pre-stage all of my print jobs. Now on the K1Cs and K1s, it's really good to center your jobs, just so everything is humanly close to center. It makes it easier for the kinematic system. Now you can name the build plates. This feature is something that modern slicers do, as it helps you organize your project before you send it. So you can see like here, like if I go file, there's no options in Prusa Slicer for this. Because before what you would do is you just have a folder and then save like plate 1, plate 2. But with with 3MF being a very popular format now, you can get more information in a 3MF file, like multiple plates or multiple build colors, and Orca Slicer can interpolate those. Now, Orca Slicer also lets you like assemble the project. Sometimes it crashes. Sometimes it crashes, but this is kind of like what your plates look like off the plate. Um, it's a guess. It's a weird guess, but it does exist, that feature. I think as far as modern slices go, and you guys, so this is chime in time. I think Orca Slicer is still one of the strongest front runners when it comes to that. And the reason I say that is because if we open Creality Print, it will look similar, but all of the commands and settings are on the right hand side. But it's similar. There's not a whole lot. They move those features around to their UI flow. It does have support. So here's the Creality Slicer. You can see like my command menus on this side, like another slicer was that we looked at this morning. It lets you see more settings. Tips, tricks are on the side here, right? You can go through the settings. They don't expose them automatically. They have them in the sub menu here rather than the horizontal menu, but they both have the search feature. They both have the save feature. These are very similar slicers. The only thing that I would say, let's see here. I want to see if I can change this one, and yeah. So like, if we click this little tab here, it turns on the advanced settings, and you can see they grow, and then you actually get all of the settings. Let's just try one more time. Well, yeah, okay. So you can see that. Oh, hey, look, wall generation is the same. So this is a slicer that's so similar because both Orca and Creality Print are based off of our good friend Bamboo Studio. It's opening in the other window. You can't see the splash screen. I'm sorry. But Bamboo Studio is kind of where modern slicers got their first foothold. Bamboo Studio took Prusa Slicer and modernized it for their printer. And this is how we see iteration, especially in 3D printing, happening. It's a company, Ultimaker made Kira, right? A company made a thing for their thing, and then that grew bigger. So we see that a lot. Now we can see here that there's a lot of different options along the top of Bamboo Studio. Very, very similar to Orca. In fact, if I were to, sorry, I'm just going to move that off the side there. Do I have my PONS? Yes. Hello. There we go. If you choose a Bamboo Lab printer, look what happens. All of the options are the same in Orca Slicer. Orca Slicer borrowed from Bamboo Studio to build itself, right? They forked it, they made their own project. It is great. It is more supportive of third-party printers, so if you have more than just a Bamboo Lab printer, like, it has more options. However, I clicked the button, so I'm going to be really patient here. But you can see, like, it was even more snappy on the open, but that's because there's less options inside here for third-party printers. But you can see the K1C, K1C Max, right? Tronxy, probably Voron. Yep, there it is. Say probably, and you're scrolling down. No. Like, they do have support for third-party printers inside of Bamboo, but the selection is curtailed to just a few manufacturers. So Bamboo Slicer basically is the progenitor to all of these modern slicers that we talked about. Bamboo Slicer, Creality Print. Creality Print grew up because of the CFS. You can see that all of the options in the right hand corner now let you add filaments, change colors, flush filaments, and do everything you would need to do with a CMS up in this section. Or in Bamboo Slicer and Orca Slicer, all of it's under the filament tab. So if you're using a printer that has like oh, dang it, the word a CFS or an AMS, I did it, I got there. If you're using printers that have those, you can see like Bamboo Lab will resync. This one, Orca Slicer, gives you the 5th position, which is nice, but not needed, but it is nice because maybe you put ABS or something in the open slot, like without the just right into the printer, and you didn't really want to deal with your brain dealing with the AMS filaments. You can do that. The control of the AMS is all as well, right, right inside of the menu. They use different icons a little bit. It's just plus minus, but they added a nice little like spool wall and a save, right? So these are so similar. Like, I consider these two almost the same. It's just that Orca Slicer rolls new features faster. I think the Soft Fever is the name of the developer and the project. Again, remember, if you're downloading these, Bamboo Slicer comes from Bamboo Labs. Creality Print comes from Creality, right? Great Slicer. Again, here, let me just go into the printer settings here. Creality Print comes from Creality. Not that you should use it, but Kira comes from Ultimaker and Thingiverse, right? The reason I'm saying these words, Prusa comes from Prusa. is the fact that Orca Slicer does have like somebody made a website. I forget what the URL is, but it's like download Orca or orcasoftware.com or something like that. That's not the developers of this software. It's just some person that did that, and hope hopefully they're not doing it maliciously, but like it's one of those things where you should get it straight from the horse's mouth, which is a GitHub and then manufacturer website. So you can see like I have Creality printers, but then in Creality Print, I brought all of the printer options that were in basically Orca Slicer over. I can probably print any, yeah, Anchor Makes are in there. I have no idea what an Orca Arena printer is, but that's cool. So there's lots of options when it comes to printers in Creality Print and Orca, but you're a little more limited in Bamboo Labs. They're going to add more as they go, but Bamboo Studio and Bamboo Labs create really focus on bamboo ecosystem. So that's kind of their bread and butter. So, that's modern slicers right there. It's it's an interesting it's an interesting thing to go through where we came from, where we are now. Um, Ray's comment still rings true, and I'll echo it again. People still use Kira. I was surprised. I typed Kira, and there are people still using Kira. There are people making videos on Kira as well, like relatively new videos. I think if you're not using like a flagship modern printer with Clipper or a Clipper on like your current printer, it's probably a fine choice. However, I think that our newer ones, um, well, thank you. Appreciate the comment. Yeah, no, I think the newer slicers outperform, run circles around any old guard of slicers. So when we think about which one to choose, I have the three on my screen right now. I'll just flip back. Yes. If I were to choose not based off of brand, it would probably be Orca Slicer first. It's the most agnostic, large project supported printers. Next, I would probably go with Creality Print. Again, manufacturer driven. It's a reskin and a reuse of Bamboo Labs, much like Orca. Lots more printers, same settings. If you own a bamboo printer or you like to keep things simple and you have a more mainstream printer and you don't need a lot of choice, I'd probably say Bamboo Handy or Bamboo Lab. Sorry, Slicer, Bamboo Slicer. That's the words I'm looking for. The reason is because these other two projects have just taken this and gone bigger. You can see they all support multi-material if that's a thing for you. So like you could probably do carrot feeder if you have that, or CFS. Now, I haven't seen any support for CFS yet in Bamboo, and that might be Orca. That would be something I look at, but I can't see. I could see him rolling that in into the project, or them rolling it into the project. I think that's kind of good. I think that's where the direction is. So that's kind of where I would do it in my daily drivers. If I'm printing to my Bamboo printer, I just use the Bamboo Studio, right? And or if I'm printing to my Creality K1, K1 Max, whatever it is, K1C, a Creality slicer. If I'm printing to the other 7 printers in my garage, Orca slicer, right? I think they work well. I could probably move a few printers to Creality slicer because they're just enders with Clipper. Um, One's a big one. I don't want to look that way for that comment. I'm going to look this way for that comment. Yes. What we got here? Paul says, I just got a K2 Plus after many years of upgrading an Ender and CR10. So it's a major jump forward. Yeah, you're not wrong. That's cool though. I'm glad to hear the change in generation. I think I think that's a great conversation that goes along with the slicers and the old guard of slicing. I was thinking about it last night actually. I started, you know, way back when CR10s and like, or even like TiVo, I think it was called the Little Monster or the Delta, right? Like, and back then you were still using repeat here in versions 1 or Slick 3R in like its base form, which was just terrible to configure, right? And now we're in a place where you can buy a K2, um, and I assume the Plus is the one that has like the CFS, right? Yeah, TiVo Tarantula is the one that was like a CR10 clone. That's right. I think you can still buy them, weirdly enough. But that being said, we've come a long way, and the slicers have moved along with them. I think Kira's left in the dust now. Thought that 3 years ago, and now I really think that. Prusa slicers still relevant for Prusa printers. Again, they do a lot of great work in Prusa slicer, so I wouldn't shy away from Prusa slicer in the slightest. If you're good at making your configurations yourself, if you're using Clipper, which isn't hard. We went through a little bit of Clipper and how to configure the front or the Star G code. Bruce has a lot of machines as well. But Orca Slicer and Creality have the most brand choice and the most machines in them right now, which makes sense again because Bamboo Labs does Bamboo Labs. So that's it. That's the thoughts for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember like, share, subscribe, share the channel around. It sure helps us a lot. We've been basically banned from like every posting forum on the planet for self promotion, even though we were trying to help. So we need you guys to share the channel around. We sure appreciate it. And again, thanks for coming. If you wanted to check out more or get behind the scenes stuff, it's patreon.com/3dmakeit, or you can just check out our website, www.3dmakeit.ca. But again, thank you all for coming this morning. It sure was fun. I think we'll be back next week with Gregory. I think he'll be back. So until then, parting is such sweet sober, but take care of yourselves and have a great week.